Welcome to the fourth episode of our podcast, The Positive Spin. Fourth episode?
Don't touch that.
I did. I think I messed something up, so.
Yeah, you probably did. This video's gonna suck and we're gonna lose all 28 of our subscribers. Let's go.
Why am I so white? Am I white? Do I look white?
Boo, you're 30, going on 31. You just realized that?
That I'm white?
Today we're gonna speak about roles in a relationship.
I already said that.
Okay. I was just reiterating it.
Okay. So we decided to go ahead and make an episode all about relationship roles and what is expected of a man and what is expected of a woman in a relationship.
What's the first topic of the day?
So let's start with dating. You know, when you just started dating, when you're just meeting the guy for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that came to mind is when you go to a restaurant, right? Usually that's the first date. You meet at a restaurant because we love food.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Well, some people, they just go to like the club. That's all they do. They never really have...
In the club?
Yeah, they never really have formal meetings where it's just those two until later on in the relationship. Yeah, but a lot of people are just trying to have fun.
Anyways, regardless, if it's a restaurant or a club or a bar, I think as a woman, you should not be expected to pay.
Okay.
What do you think?
So for me, I agree with that. Honestly, as a man, I feel as though you should go in there with the expectation that you're going to pay. The only caveat to that, the only exception to that, I would say, is if the woman insists on paying for whatever reason.
Would you let her? I feel like even when I was dating you, did I do that? Maybe. I would say, oh, well, yeah, I'll pay half or whatever. But I'm not, I'm just being nice to see kind of what you will say and how will you react to it.
Fair enough.
And I feel like women do that a lot because they want to see kind of what kind of guy you are. You're going to let me just pay for myself or will you be like, no?
Oh, that sounds like you playing games then.
What do you mean?
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you trying to play some little mental gymnastics with it.
Well,
dude.
That's what women think.
No.
Right?
No,
Am I right?
I think some women really would prefer to pay because they don't want to cede that ground to the male. They don't want to make it seem on a first impression that they're just going to allow the man to take charge and take control.
But they don't know.
No?
I don't see that
way. So you don't think if a woman insists 2 or 3 times that, no, I got the bill, which this has happened to me in the past.
Oh,
no, I got the bill. Sure. This is before you. Don't worry about that. This has happened in the past, and yes, it has been insisted to me. No, I'll pay. I'll pay for this time.
I think the only time a woman will be acting like this is when she's not interested in you. If I really didn't like you, I wouldn't want you to pay for me because that almost entails that.
Yeah, but
we're a thing, or we're kind of exploring things.
Yeah, but no, I don't think it means she likes you if she's letting you pay. On the flip side, I think
women
she likes
you, would just as easily.
No, I think women would just as easily take advantage of the financial incentive of going on a date with a guy if she knows he's going to pay for it. And that's actually one of the situations that really grinds my gears. Like I'm sure you've seen on YouTube or on TikTok, whatever. I don't really watch TikTok, but I'm sure you've seen the situations where the guy or the girl is on TikTok saying that we went on a first date. I met him, it was sort of like a blind date. We were kind of chatting it up, having a good time. And the girl or the woman was just ordering all this food, all these drinks, running up that bill. And the guy decided he was going to relieve himself to the bathroom and never came back. I'm sure you've seen that situation before.
I think I've heard about it.
And
but that's
in those situations, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I feel as though there are situations in which it is appropriate. And just to go back to that example, if a woman is running up the bill and she doesn't at the very least offer to pay for some of it up front or like when that bill comes, at least once, I might still foot that bill. But if she doesn't offer at first, that's a red flag to me.
That's like a first time going out kind of deal.
Like,
because if you're in a long time relationship, even if I'm having drinks, I'm expecting you to pay it.
No, I'm not talking about long term relationships. We're talking about first date scenarios.
First date scenarios, but there's etiquette when it comes to first dates.
Exactly, and there are red flags, and I think a red flag. No, and as a matter of fact, I don't remember our first date and whether or not you did offer to pay a portion of it.
I don't think I did.
You didn't? Okay.
Maybe our first outing, maybe I did when it wasn't quite clear if we're together or not.
Fair enough.
I might have been.
Yeah, but okay, so I believe our first formal date, you might not have offered. And
no.
I'm cool either way, to be honest. It's just if a woman does offer on the first or second or third date to pay, then I don't have a problem with that. I won't necessarily allow her to pay. I won't let her pay, but because I do take that, I do believe that onus is on me, but I don't have a problem with her offering.
Some men expect to split the bill. Maybe it's a new thing now.
Yeah, it probably is a new thing, but I mean, I've known guys in my age group that are happy to split bills with women. What about if you're doing something other than going to a restaurant? Let's say you're going out to let's just say an amusement park or some sort of event. What about a concert or something? Do you think it's the responsibility of the guy to pay for all expenditures when dating?
You want my honest opinion?
Yes, I want your honest opinion.
Yes.
Really? So you don't think a woman should be at all financially liable for anything in a relationship?
Maybe I've been married for too long. I don't know. It depends on who came up with the idea. I think it's normal for the girl to purchase tickets, footing the bill for a specific event if she came up with that. But let's say if the guy is like, oh, let's go to see, I don't know, Britney Spears. I would expect the guy to buy the tickets. If you gave me the idea, it's like, oh, let's go to this, but you buy this and I'll buy this. It's a little off.
Okay. No, I get it.
Just my thoughts.
And I think when we were first dating, we
didn't do many things.
The things that we did, really?
We didn't do many things.
Are you kidding me? That first year that we were together, I was making 3 times as much as you. I was bartending. I was making a lot more money than you. And I was always broke. And you was always the one saving your money. Somebody had to have been paying for all this stuff. So what do y'all think about it?
Let us know in the comments.
Let's fast forward a little bit in the relationship, okay? You've decided to be exclusive with one another. You've met all the siblings, all the significant people in your life, and you've decided to move in with one another. So now we're living with one another, and this is where the real responsibilities come in, right? Whose job is it to take care of the household?
I think it depends.
And what do you mean by take care of the household?
You said take care of it.
And what I mean, I'm like the worst lawyer in the history of court.
I'm gonna cry. What do you mean? But wait, I didn't say it. You got me double thinking on there.
And what I mean by taking care of the household, I mean maintaining the cleanliness and orderliness of the house.
When it comes to household,
you are crying.
I am crying. Anyways, I think when it comes to a household and when you're in a relationship, I think both parties have equal responsibilities.
Okay.
It also depends, of course. If, let's say, my job is not as demanding as yours, then maybe I have more time to help out a little more with the house.
Okay.
And vice versa. If I had a job that is very demanding and I get home late, you shouldn't be only doing half of your chores because, well, the other half is the other person's job,
Yeah.
That will never work. Never.
Yeah. And I largely agree with that. I think it takes two to tango. And in order to maintain the house, we've got to have a proper division of labor. Now, I guess I did have one sort of piggyback question to that. What's more important to determining in which way that that division of labor sort of sways? Is it the physical toil and how tired one is after their job, or is it the financial contribution that they make? Which one is more important to determine who has to do more?
I think it's the physical.
The physical tool?
Yes. If you go through specifically financially, I don't think that's fair.
And honestly, I want my woman to win, right? Financially. But if she is making more than me, that's just motivation in my mind to do better, do something bigger, get busier.
Yeah, but
I see that as a competition. If you making more money than me, 100%. I don't know if I can just sit aside and enjoy the fruits of your labor.
I was mainly talking about physical and mental. Like if you're coming home at 7 p.m., you're exhausted and you have to go back to work at 7 a.m. And the other partner comes home at 5 p.m. and they're not as mentally exhausted, then, they get opportunity to clean the house much more.
Yeah, but that partner that gets in at 5 p.m., who's making 20-30% more than you, I think eventually they would start to get a little bit annoyed at the fact that you're not quite up to snuff in the financial department, and you're also not helping out with the chores around the home as much as they feel they are. I think they would, or at least in my opinion,
that's when you have to communicate. That's when communication comes in.
Exactly. And I feel like, do you believe that person getting off at 5 o'clock, 2 hours earlier than the other partner, still making more, do you believe they're in the right if they approach the partner and said, you need to figure out a way to make more money and be more available for both the relationship and the house?
You could come off as very snobbish.
Well, yeah, I'm not
uncaring,
saying day one.
If that person is working a lot to further their career.
Fair enough.
Because not everybody starts.
Yes, and there are many variables that go into it. I was more so speaking about like a dead-end job that they might be in. But I think that's very important in the conversation of roles in a household, because there are 1,000 variables that can impact that division of labor, especially if we're in agreement that it should start at 50-50 and then that slider should move based off of the physical toil that each partner is under. I think it's extremely important to then kind of break down some of the variables that might impact that. Yeah, that.
So you got the 50-50, the financial toil pushes that. Then you have the fourth variable that goes on top of the financial toil that might cause one partner to start
downfall.
I'm joking.
So when it comes to labor, I think 50-50, and depending on the situation, the other partner can jump in and do a little more. But expectation, just because of your gender, is unacceptable, I think.
Unacceptable? For you?
Yes.
For you?
For me.
What do you guys
think? Unacceptable too strong of a word?
I think
I'm gonna get canceled. Let me say, not unacceptable. It's
No, you're not gonna get canceled for saying dudes need to work. As a matter of fact, you're firmly within the expectation of the current culture that we reside by saying dudes need to work.
Dude needs to clean the house if they need to.
Yes, dudes need to clean.
They need to cook. You are if they're good at cooking.
You are good. What are you talking about? You're not gonna get canceled. You're gonna get canceled for saying it's a woman's job. That's getting me canceled right there.
How about cooking?
Oh, you crazy.
How about cooking? What do you think about cooking? And I know it's not really house chore, but how about cooking?
Well, I'm a better cook than you. I enjoy cooking. I have a professional background, somewhat. What would you say the division is in terms of our cooking? I would say I'm probably 60-40, and I enjoy cooking. And I think cooking specifically, even like household chores, I don't mind doing dishes. And I don't
hate
think
dishes.
Yeah, you hate dishes. I don't think you mind folding clothes. As a matter of fact, it seems to be therapeutic for you in certain instances because you get to watch your shows and you get to be away from everybody while you're doing your folding. I absolutely cannot stand folding clothes.
That's why personal strengths come into play.
Yeah.
If I'm good at something, I should be the one doing it.
Yes.
And if you're good at something, let's say cooking, and you enjoy cooking, by all means, when you can, do it,
And so long as the two partners in the relationship are okay with those being trade-offs, with saying, okay, you do more cooking, you do more laundry, and we're happy with that.
Yeah.
Then, I
that would
believe-
work.
I think the only way to have a successful relationship is to lean into the strengths of each partner, have those trade-offs, and then both partners are okay. Not only okay, but both partners fully support the division of labor that you guys have decided.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to have a successful partnership. If you're talking 50-50 down the middle, absolutely everything, I think at some point that's going to go off the rails.
But I feel like if I'm better at that, I will take control of that. I'll be the one doing it. If you are better at mowing the lawn, you will be the one doing it. I've never mown a lawn, and you do not want me to try.
I do not.
Because I will be under that tractor real quick.
It's not a tractor, but I understand. Our fence is also very expensive, and I would like it to stay intact.
We might driving, right? You don't want to do that.
Yeah, we don't want none of that.
Exactly.
Those are a few of the roles that we see in a relationship that men and women have. We don't aspire too heavily to the different roles in a black and white sense.
No pun intended.
Right. So what is everyone's thoughts on the different roles in a relationship? A man's role and a woman's role, from the first dates to even long-term relationships and into marriage.
Leave us a comment down below. We're very curious.
I want some stuff that's weird,
So what are your thoughts?
Thoughts.
And what is expected of a woman?
No, don't ruin it. Don't ruin it.